So that was Kendrick Lamar's Squabble Up video. It makes me think of this song that I have. I wrote written a couple of scripted projects that never came out. One of them was for Comedy Central, and it was about. Well, I'm not going to say what it's about, just in case I end up selling it again later. But there's a rapper in the story, and they have a song called "Spackle Up." It's very much in the vein of Superman on them ladies by Soldier Boy. But it makes sense in the story. Anyway, whenever I hear Squabble Up, I think about Spackle Up. But that's neither here nor there. The video was highly enjoyable. I love the minimalist approach to that video. There are a lot of ways to spend a music video budget incorrectly. I think that video was a great example of, obviously, they weren't going to spend $2 million on a video. They were going to spend somewhat less than that. But doing it all in a nice studio like that, one setting, and you sort of have each section of the frame sectioned off in a triptych. So you can have one thing going on in the left side, one thing going on in the middle, and another thing going on in the right. And you can do so many individual things in just those parts of the frame that it's like each section of the frame is telling its own story. And most of it's just done with actors. So instead of spending their money on a bunch of locations, a bunch of different cinematography sort of things where you'd have to have all these different cameras and jibs and all of this stuff, they spent the money on lighting, on casting. They took their time to really think about stuff they wanted to say, stuff they wanted to do. I think a very small but noticeable aesthetic choice in the video. And I noticed this in the Not Like Us video too, but they seem to double down on it here, because I don't think there's a moment in that video where Kendrick Lamar is doing the very tried and true thing of having a conversation directly to camera. In 99% of videos that you watch, especially rap videos, the rapper is performing the lyrics very conversationally directly to camera, much like how I'm speaking to a camera right now. That tends to give the effect of this thing being performed for you, these lyrics being performed for you. So having Kendrick the entire video looking slightly to the left of the camera, first of all, it gives you a very interesting framing of the face, to where you end up focusing on his lack of emoting, his lack of emotional expression while he's delivering the lines. So in a way, he becomes a little bit emotionally removed from the subject matter, which is interesting as well. I'm very curious if that is merely an aesthetic choice or part of a larger conversation about Kendrick's relationship to the subject matter. I'll say, as somebody who has shot a lot of rap videos, performing to the camera often feels boring. Performing to the camera does not always allow you to have the accurate emotional expression or connection to the lyrics, because it becomes performative. Sometimes you're not very energetic about what you're saying. And a lot of the videos that I've shot, I remember, especially very early on, having a lot of directors that are always like, more hands, more energy. And I think that's often because these directors come into situations with a head full of the rap music videos they've seen, and they're wanting it to appear very much like the ones they've seen. They want it to be positioned next to those and for it not to stand out. But as a performer, that doesn't always feel like it's the most appropriate thing, depending on what you're saying, depending on the sort of conversation you're trying to have. All conversations are not necessary. Like, all conversations don't invoke a sense of performance. And I think that part of the normal aesthetic is giving you a sense that this performer is speaking to you. And I thought it was very interesting in the Not Like Us video, especially that his attention didn't seem to be towards the camera, because it's almost like I'm not talking to you, viewer. I'm talking to someone over there, be it a Drake, be it whoever he's going at. Since this video is not, to my knowledge, about Drake, I don't know if there's a specific audience in mind. But I just think it's interesting aesthetically that it seems to be that he's delivering the message that way rather than to you. There was a bunch of stuff that I liked in the video. I liked the different eras of gangbangers. They had shirtless, swole gangbangers that reminded me more of the gangland sort of image from LA in the 80s and 90s, with a lot of really, really big dudes with no shirts and jeans and Cortezes. And then they had, a lot of the gangsters of the day with the tighter pants and the dreads and the sunglasses, dressed a lot more stylishly. I can remember being here in LA when, us old heads were first looking around and realizing, hey, these new young gangbangers, they wear very skinny pants and they skateboard a lot. This is a new paradigm that we weren't necessarily prepared for at the time. So I like showing the eras of gangbanging in the video. Him reading the book, which I believe was the book was titled How to Be Like Kendrick Lamar, and he's Kendrick Lamar reading it. Now that's going to invite a lot of questions. Okay, who's trying to be like Kendrick? But then it's Kendrick reading it, so is he trying to figure out how to be a better version of himself? And just in general, this is a video that is going to feed the Kendrick Lamar lyric analysis media industrial complex. And honestly, this very video right here is a cog in that machine as well. But I think there's a lot in that video that's open to interpretation. So the YouTube analysts, shout out to Justin Hunt, are going to have a field day picking apart the different imagery here, because I think there's a lot being said. A lot of conversations attempting to be had about the intergenerational experience of gang violence in LA, the celebratory nature around a lot of it. I really like the stuff that looked like prom pictures, with folks sort of capturing moments. And I like that a lot of the casting, the people, they look very, very real. Like they didn't look like models. They didn't have unrealistic sort of bodies that you might sometimes expect in a music video. It's a lot here. It's a lot to be picked apart. I feel like I'm going to watch this video 12 to 15 times. No, I'm not. I'm actually not. I have my own music to make. I have a lot of things to do. But off top, very interesting, very well done, very particular and unique aesthetic choices to kind of set it apart and elevate the song. To me, I think the video is very well done. It reminded me a little bit of the Roots video for The Next Movement. It was all kind of shot in one room like that. In the Roots video, though, there was a curtain that kept closing in front of it. Then every time it opened, the scene was rearranged. But it was very much a similar video, all shot in one space. And there's a story being told about the rearranging scenes. There's obviously plenty of story being told here, too. So looking forward to picking up on more of it, and would love to hear what y'all thought about what's going on in this Squabble Up music video. Like and subscribe, homie, friend. It's free. Stop playing.